Alright, well, let's hope this works. So we're popping up. Guys, if you're sticking with me, I owe you all a coffee. I tell you what. It's a Monday. So I have this thing up.
Alright, let's hope this works.
I'm hearing myself. So if I have any viewers after that entire fiasco, I swear, each and every single one of you, meet with me. I'll buy you all a coffee or something, because man, is it Monday right now, I tell you what. Because not only do we have protests in Portland, we got school issues, daycare issues, work issues, we got in-person voting issues, and then you have Robert Santos, who can't even figure out why his mic is not working when the light's clearly on. No clue what happened. No idea. So let's just carry on with our little talk. I know it's late. If you guys stick around, I appreciate it. So we'll try to continue the way we are. I know everything's a little mumbled right now because I'm sitting here trying to figure out what's going on. I got dents in the wall because my head's hitting against it. It's pandemonium over at the Santos house, I'll tell you what. So we're getting set up. So the first thing we want to do is definitely make sure we have everything in line. So one, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. A thumbs up if y'all can hear me. Alright? That was a mess, and again, thank you guys for putting up with that nonsense. So as we get everything else going, Michael, thank you. Anyone who came back, I appreciate it. If not, that's fine. Welcome to the first installment of our first successful installment of our new name, the Veterans Bench. All right, as y'all know, as you can see, we have a new logo. We do have an intro for that logo, so here it is. And we have a guest, as usual. This little man right here who doesn't want to put a shirt on is Logan. This guy, and I understand that mess up there. We'll fix it. Thank you guys for your patience. But can you say hi?
Hi.
Are you the one who messed with Daddy's volume and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you muted a bunch of stuff. You know that, right?
Yeah.
See, he admits to it. You know, clearly it's the culprit. So let's not blame the Marine. Let's blame this guy. You thought that was funny, huh? You think that was funny? Yeah, you did.
Hey, look.
I know you see yourself over there and over there. It's okay. I love you, right? You go to bed? Dad's going to talk to the few people that stuck around. You say thank you to the ones who stuck around?
Thank you.
All right. All right. Don't give them raspberries. All right. Be a good boy, okay? I love you. That was Logan. It's a vicious, vicious little thing, I tell you what. So as we're going, here we go. Again, totally off track with what's going on because that whole fiasco that happened earlier, but thank you guys. One of the first things we definitely want to do was give the Trump family our prayers and our thoughts. As you all know, Trump's younger brother passed away this weekend. I don't care what your thoughts are on Trump or not. Send them your prayers. I mean, it's not good to lose a family member. If anyone else knows, I definitely did not like Bernie Sanders. I do not like the guy. I think he's a quackadoo. But when he had that heart attack, I'm sitting there and you take politics aside and you let him know you send me prayers because I don't wish harm on anybody. And everyone grab your coffee because it's Monday, and after the beginning of this pod vidcast that we had, we're gonna need it. So one of the first things I want to talk about, thank you, Trudy. It took a while to get that going, and I know this whole podcast is all messed up, but I appreciate you guys for sticking around. If you all know what's going on in the Portland protest, they're still protests, or they're not protesting. The stupid idiots are rioting. They are rioting, and they're doing whatever it is that they can to ensure that they cause harm against everybody else. It's ridiculous. It's wrong. And they deserve to have the book thrown at them, metaphoric book, the law, and they need to be held accountable. I believe it was the Michigan chief of police that was stating the reason why these protests and riots are becoming worse and worse is because, and I'm going to leave that photo up there because he deserves it. The reason why these things are getting worse and worse and worse is because we're not holding these individuals accountable for their actions. Right there. It's like, if we arrest them and we hold them accountable and stop letting them off, like children in the candy store throwing a fit and you give them their candy, they're going to throw a fit harder next time because they know we're going to give in. We need to hold them accountable. We need to prosecute them to the fullest extent, which is one of the reasons why I support Desmond for Mahoney County Prosecutor. He does a great job. He will do a great job when he's elected. We'll plug his link in later. I know I did it the last live stream, and we'll keep doing it. He's a great guy. So if you're Mahoney County, definitely vote for Desmond. The second thing I want to talk about is school, and this is going to be a long one. School, daycare, and work. As I am sure each and every single one of you have the same issue as I do. I work full time. My wife is going to school to get her nursing degree. So you have to ask yourself, okay, we have 3 kids. We got a 15-year-old, no problem. He can stay home. There's no rule on how long he's allowed to stay home. He can stay home all day long. It's great. I have an 11-year-old. He's allowed to stay home by himself. And I know this is going on. Thank you for bringing it up, John. We had a huge issue at the beginning of the live stream, but we had to restart it 5 times. My 11-year-old can only stay home alone, per Ohio law, 3 hours. 3. Obviously, my 4-year-old, no. My 15-year-old, he can watch both of them all day long. He's old enough. It's within the law. It's okay. However, do you want to put that on a 15-year-old every single day? Which leads me to my next thing, school starting. So you have to ask yourself, what school does your kid go to? Is he going to a school that's online only? Is he going to a school that's allowing in class? Or is he going to a school that's 2 groups? Group A goes to school today. Group B does online. And the next day, they switch. Group B goes to school and Group A goes online. So for my situation, here's what's going on. And I'm sure each and every single one of you know somebody or are in the same boat. My wife has to go to school Monday and Thursday. Monday is an all-day thing from like 6 in the morning to 5 o'clock. Got it. My 4-year-old, daycare. Easy. All right. My 15-year-old, easy. Especially since we live in Austintown, he goes to Austintown. My son, my 11-year-old, goes to Girard. There is no bus from Austintown to Girard. So I will have to bring him to school, which means I'm late for work. And I have to pick him up. Why? Because the after-school care is only taking a select amount of individuals, and they're prioritizing individuals. And they are prioritizing individuals with special needs over other kids, which is, I get it, not really a big deal. But you have to ask yourself, 1, I got to pick him up from school because there's no after-school care. So not only do I got to drive him to school, I got to pick him up from school. But what if on Monday when my wife goes to school, he's actually homeschooled that particular day? How many of y'all are in that same situation or even understood what I said? Because that means he's home all day. He's 11 years old. You can't leave him home. Has the school thought about that? What are they doing to ensure that? Because here's the deal. I'll stay home, obviously, because I'm not going to violate the law. But what are the schools doing to ensure? What are the works doing? What is our government? What is our local legislators, our national, all of them doing to ensure my issue, which I'm sure there's thousands upon thousands of other parents out there who are the same situation as me, have it handled? Do you want me to pay a babysitter $20 an hour when I only make $15? That's stupid. So these are issues that the schools and the daycares need to work out. They need to figure something out for parents such as us. Think about the single parents out there. How are they going to have their kids go to online schooling when they have a 5, 6, 7-year-old or even anyone under the age of 13 who can't be home alone more than 3 hours. And obviously, I think it's 10. I just looked at my kids, but I think it's 10 to 13 is 3 hours. Anything before that, it's not. So ask yourself, what is going on? These are things that need to be handled. These are things that need to be addressed. My son goes to school starting Monday. My stepson, I believe he starts on a week after that. But my 4-year-old is not really a big deal. He's got daycare. But he actually starts preschool as well. So not only am I paying for daycare, paying for babysitters, and I'm working, and I have to miss days of work, which means less pay. This is all messed up. Our government needs to remove their head from their ass, yes, I cussed, and fix this problem. Our president's doing everything he can, but he can't do it all. He needs the help from the legislators, from Congress, from the state reps, from the commissioners, to the trustees, from the Board of Education, to the Department of Education, to fix this problem, to ensure our kids are well educated, and the parents of those kids can continue to support those kids, to pay for their food, the heat, electricity, the water, their beds, their clothes, their food. That's what they need. I know I missed a few of you. Thank you guys for coming back. If I haven't said so already, but I apologize for the beginning of all this. It was all messed up. My whole entire live stream is all gaggled. But you know what? It happens. But these are the things that we need to work on. These are the things that we need to write our legislators, send emails, make phone calls. The more we do it, the better we'll have. The more we'll have answers, and things will get fixed. So I'm reading something. If kids can play sports together and goes, no, I agree, Jeannie. I believe that everyone should be going in school. There are some teachers that are protesting and that are pretty much saying they don't want to go back to school. They don't want to. They're scared for their life, whole yada yada. But yet they'll go to Walmart and touch stuff that's on the shelves that hundreds of other people have already touched. They'll grab money. You know where money's been? Money's gross. If anything's got the virus, it's money. I'm a guy. Put two and two together. Where do you think some of that money's probably been? I've never been the one, but that's what my wife always says. She's like, wash your hands after you touch that money. You don't know where it's been or what it's been on. Yeah, fine. You can hit the mad face all you want, because I'm actually mad about the situation too. But all this ties into the COVID. Because our next topic, they all tie each other, is the in-person voting that's apparently being pushed. Or, excuse me, I want in-person voting. The mailing voting that's actually being pushed. So you're telling me that it's too dangerous to go to the polls to vote because you'll catch the COVID, which is a 99.9% survival rate. But it's not at Walmart. It's not at Kmart. It's not at Mark's. It's not at Save-A-Lot. It's not at Shop and Save. It's not at any grocery store. It's only at the polls after 10 o'clock at night. It's like the COVID has its own mind. If anything, here's a solution, guys. Here's a solution to the voting. Get a voting booth right next to the checkout at Walmart. You can check out, you can buy groceries, and vote right there. Our government needs to figure this out. Now, I've heard multiple stories about Trump is saying the mailing, the post office is horrible. They're doing such a bad job. And then you have the left and some right are saying, no, the post office is doing a good job. Well, I'm sorry. I call BS. The post office is doing a crappy job, mostly because they're not staffed appropriately. Think about how many primary ballots are being found in Florida, California, Ohio, all through the nation, that ballots didn't reach the location in time, or they found stockpiles of it over in a closet or in a back storage room. Is that proper? It's not. So the president's right in saying that the post office can't handle it, even though the post office is saying they can. They can't, or they won't, or they refuse to. or they have turds in the wind that they need to take care of. And yeah, I just said that. This man right here is great. He understands. I mean, how can you tell me it's broken when it's clearly, or it's not broken when it clearly is broken? Or because the president's saying it's broken, it's clearly not, because he's such a liar. How dare the president speak the truth? He's a great man. He's doing a good job. I'm all about in-person voting. If you want an absentee ballot, go right ahead. My solution for those who are actually worried about catching the COVID, you have early person voting. My solution is the same solution for the primary that happened. Everyone's like, we're going to go straight to absentee ballots. Why not extend the way they were doing in early voting? For the primary, they should extend at 2 weeks. You have 2 more weeks to go down to the Board of Elections and vote. For the upcoming election in November, instead of, I'm not really too sure the date or if they even came out with a date yet, but we're just going to throw something out there. But if they say October 15th is early person voting, make that October 1st. No one has an excuse. Make it October 1st and say, hey, from October 1st to October 7th, if your last name begins with A to C, you come. If you don't, you're done. From October 8th to October 16th, if your last name begins with D to whatever, it's your turn to vote. Do it that way. Problem solved. I mean, seriously, was that so hard? I did not come with that. That was actually have a conversation at work. I believe it was either Debbie Valley or Mrs. Valley that came up or thought of that. And it was a great idea. So I won't own that idea. It wasn't mine, but it's a great idea. And why not open up early voting prior and say, if you're worried, go ahead and get an absentee ballot like you were allowed to. But if you want an in-person vote, here's the times that you can and you only can. I'm sure if they say, hey, if your last name begins with an S, which mine does, you can only vote from the 1st to the 5th. I'll be damn straight that I will make sure I go there between the 1st and the 5th and make sure my vote is accounted for. Problem solved. Does anyone else have a problem with that? October 3rd. How you doing, Mindy? If anyone doesn't know, Mindy, the one who just came on, my campaign page or professional page, she's a poker shark. Don't play poker with her. She will take your money. So these solutions that we have, I'm tired of seeing all these officials or just people in general saying, hey, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, but not coming with solutions. One of the biggest things they preach in the Marine Corps is don't come to your senior leadership with a problem unless you have a solution, even if it's a crappy one. Come with a solution. We can brainstorm it. We can work it because there are no wrong answers, but we can fine tune your solution to a better solution. I think the solution that we came up with work is great. You don't want absentee ballot only voting? Fine. Say the ones who are scared, you can absentee ballot from this day, and you have till this day to have it postmarked. Everyone, regardless what your last name is. But if you want an in-person vote, from the 1st to the 7th, A through D, from the 8th to whatever, E through whatever. I think that's a great solution. Some people may not like it. It's going to piss some people off. But you know what? It works out. The Dems. Yeah, the Democrats are. I try not to talk crap about either side. But I do stand my ground when it comes to saying if both Democrats and Republicans are getting out of whack. But right now, the Democrats are what? Like seriously, like my 4-year-old has more common sense than most of them. I work with a Democrat. I won't say his name for privacy reasons, but he's on the verge of coming over to being a Republican because he's like, are you serious? Biden, a child sniffer? Bobby, thanks for joining. Ruth, John. Yeah, I'm voting by in person, John. I always will. It'll happen. I'll always do it. I understand there's. Well, I have done absentee ballots when I was in Okinawa, Japan, and in Hawaii. My home of record at the time while I was in the Marine Corps was the state of Maine. So I always voted in the state of Maine. I had to request absentee ballots. I never always got my ballot in time. Anyone who's been in the military know mail stinks. Speaking of what the president was talking about earlier, the mail service couldn't even mail out absentee ballots or get those to the destination in time before the COVID even started. And now this is going to up the entire influx of mail that they're going to get. They can't even. You know how many checks I've had lost? They can't even get the stuff right before the COVID. What makes you think they're going to get it right now? The primary was a prime example. No pun intended. They couldn't get that right. David, absolutely. In person, vote, post it, let people know. Anyone doesn't know that Judy Boardway Santos, that's my mother. She's single. Click on her, add her as a friend. She lives in Maine, on the beach. Just throwing it out there. All right, before we get off track and we go on a rant for this whole in-person voting, there's a few events that are going on this weekend. Let me pull them up here real quick. Again, I apologize for the delay in some things, but, computers are horrible. One of the biggest things we actually have is the Sunrise Inn in Warren is actually having a car show. Bobby Miller and all 100% of all the profits are actually going to the Travis Mills Foundation. If you guys don't know what the Travis, and I'm pulling it up right now, what the Travis Mills Foundation is, it is a organization that takes no money. No one there is paid at all. And they help out veterans that suffer from PTSD, depression, anxiety, and they take them out for a retreat. The retreats last anywhere from, I believe, a few days to a few weeks. There's like kayaking, there's hunting. I've never been there, but let me see here if I can pull this up. This weekend, choose dates. It is on the 22nd. This Saturday in Warren. We'll find it. But definitely, if you guys like cars, if you guys like anything, get out there, show your support. 100% of all and here it is right now. Let me pull this up. All right. 100% of all the proceeds go to benefit the Travis Mills Foundation. So 11 to 4. It's 29th. If it rains, it'll be on the 29th, but it's this weekend. I don't think it's going to rain this weekend. So go out there. I'll move my head out of the way. It's 510 East Market Street in Warren. Everyone knows where the Sunrise Inn is. I mean, the Sunrise Inn is the most popular restaurant in Warren, or at least one of them. They do great. They help out veterans continuously. Great bunch of people. Definitely support the local community. They definitely do whatever they can to help out Trumbull County, the Valley, and Ohio in general. And they're definitely huge supporters of veterans. So they definitely got I'm going. I love them, and I'll always preach for them. So if you guys are interested, head out there. Let's get rid of all that. Kenneth, Angel, thanks for joining. Yeah, 29th, the Cavalry Center parking lot. Trudy, there is one. We'll be posting all of this stuff. I hate computers. Totally messed it up. So, the recap we talked about, the Portland riots. I mean, you guys protest great. I mean, protest appropriately. Don't be stupid. If you know it's going to get rowdy, leave. Don't put yourself in a situation where you got to take a Antifa guy to the ground, and then next thing you know is they got a paper cut, and then next thing you know is you're being charged for attempted murder. The school, daycare, and work, make sure you guys figure this out, because here we are, like, what's going on? One, the schools are not even talking to us. So call your schools, the schools that your kids go to, and demand answers. A a lot of them don't know they don't even know what's going on. School starts next week. They're supposed to start next week. Everyone knows about my situation. I work full time. My wife's actually going to nursing school. It was all online. She actually starts back in school on the 27th. But with kids going to school and half the school being online and the other half being in class, it's causing a gaggle when it comes to work. So basically, on Mondays, I can't work. And I know there's several other individuals out there who have the same situation as myself. So we need to figure out that daycare, Angel. I mean, we have daycare. We signed him up, so he's going to daycare. The issue is Logan's taken care of. But what daycare is going to take an 11-year-old? 11-year-old can stay home, but can only stay home for 3 hours. Now, my son is definitely smart. I mean, he's coherent. He's capable of being home by himself all day. He has my utmost trust. He's not going to do anything stupid. He'll probably just shove his face in front of the TV all day and play video games and won't even do his homework. And if that's the most of my problems, I'll be happy that he didn't do his homework. And when I come home, I'll tell him to do it. The problem is he can only stay home for 3 hours alone. So that means I got to go to work, leave about 2.5 hours later, or 2 hours, because it takes me half an hour to get there, work 2 hours, drive another half an hour back home, which is the 3 hours, sit at home, check on him, go back to work, and come back. And that's a huge mess. So, yeah, daycares are limited. There was after-school care. So I have to, when the days he's in school, he's got to get picked up. So these are issues every American is actually having at this time. So we can go out there, we can figure out if you guys know anyone, it's a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, you guys trust, give them a call, talk to them. Definitely do what you can. Work with your friends, your family. Everyone's always willing to work with each other. But there are single parents out there who don't have anybody. Reach out a hand. Help them out because they're just trying to make a living. They do what they can. And if they only make $10 an hour and they got to pay a babysitter $20 an hour, it's kind of redundant. John, I didn't want to talk about that. John brought up a point on YouTube, but there was an individual that was shot. It was a child. I don't want to talk about it. It's all on Facebook. It's stupid. Hopefully that guy gets, it's sad. My thoughts and prayers go out to that family. I have kids. It's hard for me to talk about, but we definitely need to stop violence. I know this is probably going to be weird how I say it, but we do need to stop gun violence or just violence in general. I would never take guns away because a criminal will always find a way to be a criminal, but we need to have harsher punishments for criminals. They're like kids. Criminals are like kids. They throw a fit in the candy store because they want a piece of candy. As soon as the parents give in and give them that candy, they're going to throw a fit again, more and more and more. And they're going to want more and more and more. Criminals are the same way. They make one small crime. They don't just start off murdering people and assaulting several individuals and attempted murders and drugs. Let's start off small. If we start putting the hammer to the wall and saying, hey, knock it the hell off, maybe they actually will stop. If we give individuals a reason to not be criminals, and what I mean by that is, think of Youngstown, for example. The school's horrible. The last couple of years, they were going through shutdowns left and right because they didn't have AC. They didn't have proper education for these kids. They're not showing these kids and guiding these young kids or young adults to a better future. If they guided them and showed them what they can accomplish if they worked hard, then maybe they actually would get out. They would get out of that life of crime. They actually would become something. They would definitely be a individual that would definitely make a difference in our community. But instead, we're just lollygagging around and embezzling money and then taking money away from schools and then paying for 2 superintendents because one quit, but we're still going to give them the money for the rest of the 2 years. But it's okay. Let's just fire teachers and get rid of the media program and cause a whole stink. Really? Tim Ryan loves me. Tim Ryan's I'm disappointed in Tim Ryan, Angel. I really am. He has a really good area. He does. He really does have a good area. And he could do so much with the Valley, with District 13, with Ohio. Ohio is, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, we have trains. We have access to our railroad. We have access to the highways, to the airports. You name it. We are a perfect hub for the manufacturing. Bam. Access to the highways, the train station, air, you name it. Why can't he utilize it? He's just letting it die down, and he's collecting $174,000 a year. And I told myself I wouldn't do it because she hasn't answered any of my questions, and I never wanted to support her because she's not answering my questions. Now, I'm not going to vote for Tim Ryan, but I'm telling you right now, he needs to go. So look at Christina Hagan and vote for her. And the only reason why I said I didn't want to preach it is because, to me, I tell each and every single one of you that I would hold everyone accountable regardless of what side of the aisle they're on, whether it's Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian. If they're doing something, I want to know. But she needs to answer my questions. I still will push for her to answer my questions, but she's definitely got my vote. But all because you have my vote, Christina, does not mean you can ignore me. Because I will still harp once you kick Tim Ryan's butt. And you have him clean his office out, and you move some stuff in, because I will be knocking on your door saying, hey, I still want my questions answered. So reach out there, Christina Hagan, get Tim Ryan out of office. He's done nothing, and I think she will do something. Are you talking about Sturgis, Trudy? Oh, David, yeah. I saw that, and they got shut down real quick. There was another protest going on over at a manufacturing plant that made tear gas. I made the comment to my wife. I was like, hey, maybe that manufacturing plant needs to test some of their tear gas, if you know what I mean. Yes. She will. I mean, it's common answers. No, I'm going to let her know. I'm going to give her time because I just want to know. I mean, there's some things that I said during the campaign, and I just want an answer. I mean, same answer that I would want from my current legislator, whether it's Michelle LaPorte Hagan that I keep going after. Michelle LaPorte Hagan. No relation to Christina Hagan. Zero. Oh, thank goodness. I just would like to see Christina answer some questions. Now, I will reach out to her and ask if she wanted to come on here and answer these questions. They're not hard. They're real simple. I want to know why she voted for a pay raise. Please explain. I want to know why she didn't vote to help out victims of sex trafficking. Please explain. Maybe there was something inside that bill that she saw that I couldn't see. I would love for her to explain that to me. I want to know why she didn't vote to get rid of mandatory overtime for nursing. What people don't know is this is when she was a state legislator. Obviously, when you work somewhere, they say, hey, you have to work 50, 60 hours a week. That's not the mandatory overtime that this bill was actually going to stop. The mandatory overtime that it was going to stop was it's a condition of employment. And what that means is if you just got done with a 10-hour shift right this second and your replacement did not come in, you would have to work the entire shift. Not work an extra hour until they get a replacement. You would have to work that entire 12-hour shift. So you'd work like a full 24-hour shift. Imagine what happens when you get tired. You make mistakes. When you finally get off a shift, you'll drive home, you get in an accident, you could pass away. It's actually happened. I don't know the year, but Don Manning, God rest his soul, he was pushing for it. And I think we need to keep pushing for it and get that passed, because these nurses don't mind working overtime, but they just don't want to be forced to work a second 12-hour shift right after their current 12-hour shift. They don't mind working 7 12-hour shifts. They just don't want to work 2 24-hour shifts, then a 12-hour shift, then a 24-hour shift. Excuse me. That's what they was trying to stop. So I just want her to explain. Let me know. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that has the answer. She's still got my vote, but I want to know if she's willing to woman up and answer these questions. So I'm reading some comments. I really want to know what you guys are talking about right now. All right, so we're going to let it go at this point. I'll show you guys my intro again. Again, those of you who came back, who stuck around, I definitely appreciate it. I apologize what happened earlier. We'll fix it. Just so you know, we are going to have a special guest on our next podcast. We will have one Monday, but we're also going to have another one on Tuesday. Individual wants to come on. If you want to know who it is, you got to stand by. His name is going to be a surprise. We do have a few other individuals lined up to come on. If you all have a subject that you want us to talk about, if you want to come on and just BS with us, be more than happy to. If you want to call in, we got that feature too. Be more than happy to hear your thoughts and your suggestions on these certain topics. If there's a topic you want us to discuss, send me a message, shoot me an email, call me on my phone. My phone number is 330-531-1007. Mr. Trump, our thoughts and prayers to your family. I know you're probably not going to call me, but if you need anything, we're here for you. We're here for every American every American. So if anyone needs anything, give us a call. We'll do our best to help you out. So God bless you all, and God bless America.